What's up everybody and welcome back to another episode of upcoming mods for Skyrim. If you guys have never seen this series before, basically what it's all about is I show you some work in progress videos, images, or just some other assets shared to us by mod authors of some mods that they are working on right now. These are mods that may not be coming out for the next few weeks or months, or who knows, maybe some of them will even come out in a few days. Regardless, the point is don't rush these mod authors, don't pester them to get their mods released sooner because they are doing this for free and really just most of them as a hobby. If you guys do enjoy the series, I encourage you to consider subscribing. I do the series for both Skyrim and Fallout 4, as well as a bunch of other series for both games. But with all that being said, let's just jump straight into the mods. So the first mod I do want to show you guys is going to be Organic Factions. This is going to be a mod that is actually technically released, but kind of an inconsistent state of development and definitely not in a finalized form. The background video is one provided by them showing some new world space that they plan on adding in one of the newer updates. So what is Organic Factions? Well, basically it's a mod that right now adds in a number of different warring factions into Skyrim. These factions can grow, level up, and expand and gain different territory from some of the other factions. It's basically like they're at a constant state of war. You could help one of them out by expanding their territory and just helping them in battle. But the real key part here is you don't have to involve yourself. These guys will actually fight, secure territory, and just kind of eliminate one another on their own. No player interaction is necessary for this, and they are meant to be kind of like their own standalone factions doing something, and you can choose to intervene or not. Again, this is a very ambitious and expansive mod, and the new update does plan to make it even more ambitious and expansive. The video in the background is a new location planned to be added in by the mod where one of the factions will reside. And on top of that, some of the new updates that they do plan to add are things like resource management and levels for some of these factions. So resource management meaning that there's going to basically be an alchemist that is making potions for a certain faction. You can go to that faction and take out the alchemist, and suddenly the faction is weakened because they won't have potions anymore. But this is going to actually work. Troops are going to walk over to this place, pick up a potion, and then those same troops will later in battle potentially use that potion. On top of that, factions are going to be assigned a certain level, which is going to define what that faction can do or what they do have available to them. So if a faction does become a higher level, their cities and just things like that will actually have higher prices, like they're more prosperous, and there's just a lot of depth to this mod. I will have post link down below. It's a very, again, ambitious mod and definitely one I'd recommend reading more about if this is something that does sound interesting to you. So next up, we have an update to the Champion of Molag Bal armor. So this is a mod I did show you guys a little bit of in the past, but at a very early stage. Well, now it definitely seems like we are getting to the final steps of this mod. Right now, we are seeing a bunch of updates to some of the different color options we will have, as well as you actually do have a totally alternative helmet now with this armor. But as you can see by these pictures, the new helmet does actually have kind of almost a Daedric feel to it. It looks pretty cool, looks a little bit demonic like the armor, and I think it does definitely fit with the armor itself. And on top of that, we do have some of the different color customization options that will invariably be available when this armor is released, giving it a little flavor of its own. Obviously, the bulk of the armor is gray, but then having that red or blue or whatever color that is going to be available definitely kind of brightens it up, and it's just a really nice highlight color to bring attention to the armor and really just not having it as a boring flat gray. Again, I definitely like the look of this armor. It's obviously not going to be for everyone. It seems like a very heavy and bulky armor with a kind of background that is evil, obviously fitting the Molag Bal theme there. Regardless, again, the armor itself does look very cool. Definitely one of the most promising armor mods we've seen in a while for Skyrim, and one I'm personally pretty excited about. Next up, we have a little bit of a simpler mod. That's going to be the Bandit Fur Armor. This is going to be by Gamewick, the mod author behind Rustic Clothing, and really just a lot of the rustic visual overhaul mods that are available for Skyrim right now. It does seem like this will probably come in an update for that mod, not as a standalone mod, as that's typically what he does with these types of things. With that being said, the armor itself definitely looks like it is pretty cool. Going to be a lot better than some of the other alternatives we would have in vanilla Skyrim. One thing Gamewick does really well is he just makes a lot of his armors or clothings look much sharper than they otherwise would. Like when you're actually looking up close at them, it just looks like a totally better looking armor than you would find elsewhere. All around, this mod author is pretty much known for some high quality mods, so I have a feeling this one's going to be no exception to that rule. Next up, we do have a new follower mod. This is going to be called Noxuara. This is going to be by a mod author named Falmer Bane. He actually has made a ton of mods for Skyrim, but as he does say, he has been out of the scene for a few years now, which is kind of crazy. It makes you realize how long Skyrim modding has been a thing. Regardless, as you can see, he is working on a brand new follower for Skyrim. She's going to be an Imperial Conjurer that can dual wield 2 bound swords. He does say he has been using her in his game to begin with, but he still does have a bit of tweaking to do on the face of the character. All around, I personally think this follower mod looks very high quality. Even if it's not fully voiced, that doesn't really bother me as much as it does bother some other people. Cool follower mods are cool follower mods. The voice just adds a little bit on top. I don't think it's necessary to use the follower mod though. And all around, again, the follower does look pretty cool, and I can definitely see it being a nice addition to a lot of people's game. So last but certainly not least, we have Scream of the Werebat. There's not too many details on this mod, but what I imagine this going to be is a retexture of the werebats in Skyrim. As you can see by some of these images, this does look a lot better than what we have right now. The existing werebats are much more on the bat side of things, not as much on the werewolf side of things, while this one actually looks more like a proper hybrid, or really just an alteration of a werewolf, which is kind of what, you expect these werewolf derivatives to be. It looks like he took the base of a werewolf and then made some of the features like the hands, the nose, and really just the ears there seem much more like a bat. It definitely looks like a pretty terrifying enemy and something you wouldn't want to mess with if it kind of snuck up on you in the night. Regardless, the mod itself again does look really high quality, and these kind of overhaul mods are always nice to have in Skyrim. You could use a number of them at the same time and you really do have a much enhanced game. That's pretty much going to wrap it up for this episode of upcoming mods for Skyrim Special Edition. I do hope you guys enjoyed as always. If you watched to this point in the video, comment key down below. As always, thank you guys again for watching, and I do hope to see you all next time. Later.